Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good. Hello, wherever you are in the world today. Thank you for joining me, Amy Hager, Community Curator here at the Joyful Business Revolution. And I don't have my partner in crime, Shannon, with me today. We are diving into some of the experts that we work with at the Joyful Business Revolution and really letting them share their stories. And today I have Joan with me. And Joan has, again, I swear, each story is so unique, but then the journey that we get to go on with these people is absolutely amazing. We've been working with Joan since right before COVID, and we're going to go back a couple of years to talk about that time because it was a really awakening time for Joan and her messaging. And so before we really go into that backstory, Joan, who are you, where are you, and what do you do in this world?
Hi, everybody. I'm Joan Van De Griek. I am a CPA and MBA living here in the Denver, Colorado area. I have clients all around the country, and my primary clients these days tend to be police and first responders. We really work to understand what their needs are, not just for the ordinary compliance that we do for taxes and things like that. We're actually diving deeper to help them make some of those decisions as they look to transition to retirement. Some are looking sooner than others, but really we help to answer a lot of those questions that just become really complex when they're meeting with their union reps or the advisors from their retirement funds. And we bring a lot of clarity to that, and we tell them exactly what to expect, what the timing of it looks like. And then we kind of just show them, hey, how can we make this so flexible that you can retire whenever you want, even if it's a little earlier than planned these days.
Before we jump into today's episode, we want to invite you to join us in the Content Personality Club. In this club, we help coaches and consultants attract your perfect fit clients. Here's what we know. When you tweak and enhance your messaging, or maybe even overhaul it, your business is going to get a whole lot better.
If you are experiencing any of these specific problems in your business, we want to help you. Number one, you publish content via email or social media, but it doesn't consistently convert to new clients, nor does it have the fire, flair, and feel you desire. Number two, if you're spending lots of time launching and reworking your offer, but you don't have the number of clients you think you should based on all of your hard work. Or number three, you have spent money on ads and or copywriters in the past, but none of it worked like they said it would.
Then we've got great news for you. Join us in the club where you'll learn how to leverage your content personality to create magnetic messaging. Because when your messaging is working, it does 90% of the heavy lifting for you. Visit www.contentpersonalityclub.com to join now. Yeah. Well, and I think that flexibility in retirement and exiting the workforce is just so key in the work that you do, because there's days where I'm sure their jobs are going great and then days where it's not going so great. And sometimes making the on-the-fly decision but not having your financial freedom established would be a hard decision for them to make. And so let's dive into when we first started working with you. So it was, pre-COVID or going into COVID, I guess we should say. And you were planning on being down about 38% in revenue in your business. And you came into the Confident Expert program. And I remember some of the conversations with you, I felt so overwhelmed.
Yeah, a little bit of a dork here.
Joan is like a wealth of knowledge, and I have learned a lot from her, but I also was like, I don't know. Wow. Like, where do we start? It was one of those feelings of if I was ever going to get blasted in the face with a fire hose, that was what was feeling when I was working with Joan. And so we really needed to hone in on her messaging so she wasn't overwhelming people. And Joan, the original, I guess, tagline that you used was something about pay tax, something, something, something. What was the original tagline that you were using?
Yeah. So to preface this, I was working with a different coach at the time, and they were really pushing this whole idea, a few ideas. The big ideas were you should be for the uber wealthy. They should be using the word uber, and I hate that freaking word.
Yeah.
It just doesn't resonate with me, but the uber wealthy, the uber rich. And I'm like, okay, I don't see that, but okay. And I used to do that in my public days, but it just was not appealing to me, right? It didn't feel right. And the reason why she wanted me to work with the uber wealthy was our tagline was pay taxes now, later, or never. And it's about the timing of when you pay taxes. That's really what I was helping people to try to understand deeper. Still very much true. It's just not the
it's still
phrase
what you do
now, because, some people, what I realized kind of somewhere in between all of that is I don't want to be working and pitching to the surgeon. I want to deal with the tradesman and installing the surgeon lights. I want to be the one who's building the surgery ward, not the one that's doing the surgery, because he's probably going to have more money. First of all, he's probably going to have less people trying to target him all the time and sell to him. And frankly, I can just identify better with tradesmen and people who are a little bit more hands-on.
Right. And so then, you were coming to us with a business that wasn't aligned, targeting people that you really didn't feel attracted to. And even when we dug deeper into the surface of who you really wanted to work with, when we dug into your personal story and landed on, wow, you could really help officers and their families because of your personal life experience, I saw a huge shift in the badge of honor that you wear with the work that you do. Like, you were way more proud to be helping officers than you were even tradesmen, but even when we think about like those wealthier people. And so now when you talk about who you help and what you do, you're really focusing on the results of the time spent with you, that you're really taking these people through a journey. And I think you show them that they're able to have the ability to control when they retire and have financial freedom. And I think the key is it's becoming a part of their lifestyle. It's not this gimmicky thing where pay tax now, later, or never, or whatever the words were, felt super gimmicky. Like, it's really a soulful thing that you're talking about now with these officers.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it, and I still remember very much that first time I met Shannon. It was I think this was the second time I met her. She had done this like 20-minute like zap session or something she was calling it. And I remember going, why the heck do you have this fetish for cops? And I was like, because we were talking about all kinds of things and trying to narrow it down. And I'm like, she's like, you have this, and then cops? Why cops? And, and she's like, and I hate that word cops, police officers.
Right.
Everyone uses a different phrase. But I was like, oh, my husband's one. And she's like, oh, enough. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're only working on officers. And she literally walked off the camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you elaborate? But it was really fun.
Dive a little deeper with me.
Can you stay with me here for a minute? But she literally walked off the camera, and I was like, okay. And then I signed up for the Confident Expert program.
That was the nudge that you needed
with me
to work with us.
Well, I'm from New York. She's from Chicago. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, so then when you think about the journey that you've been on, and you and I got together earlier this year to really talk through your signature speech. So you got your messaging together of how you talk about what you do in this world, who you work with, and how you're attracting them. You've switched a little bit from, doing well, I think now you're doing video and really allowing yourself to kind of
Yeah.
talk through it. But originally, I think you were doing a lot of written stuff. And here's the thing that I just kind of triggered in my head. I feel like you were marketing out of alignment before
Yes.
because you knew that if you typed it out, that gave you a chance to revise and revise and revise, because you didn't have the confidence really to just
Yeah.
verbally talk about it, because you knew you were going to just verbally vomit over everybody and overwhelm them. And so when we think about this journey of your messaging, honing in on your ideal audience, and now getting you to the point where you're comfortable in actually knowing the triggers of not overwhelming people and how to really kind of break it down. And you've been going lately on a lot of podcasts and speaking. And
Yep.
I think I share this part of your journey because it's a progression. It didn't happen overnight, right?
And it's so funny. And I remember, I do remember a few of these conversations. I remember early on, and part of why this all kind of gels in some way was I always hesitated to talk about my husband's journey because he was an injured police officer. And I was like, well, I'm still fighting for his benefits. I'm still trying to get, his disability. I'm still trying to get the pension. I'm still trying to get this. I'm trying to get him everything. And I remember you going like, wait, that's it. You're an advocate. And I'm like, huh? And you're like, it was like, well, I thought I had to prove it. It couldn't be in progress. And I think that's what really helped when I like accepted, like, okay, I don't have to have the answer yet, but I know part of the path you're going to go on. And then that kind of just led to a big shift because I remember for the longest time, my old coach was insisting I write a book, insisting. And I was like, and regurgitating and I'm like, I don't want to write a flippin' book, which is ironic now because one, I realized YouTube and TikTok way easier for officers. They don't have time to read anything. They're not necessarily on Facebook. Most of them are on doing TikToks and YouTubes when they have a minute in between calls, and they only have like 5-10 minutes because they're also listening to the radio. So I had that big aha, and I kind of did that through the content personality wheel thing. And that was an aha. The other aha was being an advocate. And then, I also realized I needed to just give the written word to someone else. We actually hired a VA who knew nothing about life insurance. The only caveat was that she needed to be IT savvy. She had to be pro police, pro first responder, which slimmed it down. I only got a small handful of people. They even said, yeah, I'm your person. And she basically taught herself. I'm like, here's all my videos. I want you to binge watch them because it's busy season. I don't have time to tell you. And she figured it out from my videos. And it just started rolling. And now she's directing my TikToks. And it's a total 180. And then I remember the Joy Money retreat was when I realized, hey, I want to actually go on podcasts, which I would have never done that before. And I do want to write a book. I would have never done that before, but it wasn't the right book. They were trying to get me to write a book like what everyone else wrote. And then, just kind of realizing, nope, I'm just going to talk about what it was like being the police officer's wife and how crappy you get treated when they're hurt and how crappy they're treated. And and help others. And that's more mission driven. I'm not trying to sell. I'm just educating, talking about, hey, it's going to be crappy when it happens, if it happens. Hopefully it won't, but here's how to prepare. And that's kind of how I approach these officers now. Is don't repeat or have my same pain points if you can avoid it.
And I think that's part of the again, your mission and your story is you figured it out and it was not easy. And so if you can avoid that pain for another officer and their family, that's what you really, really want to do. And I think the other thing that as you go through all of this, we always say that messaging and your messaging in your business is a living, breathing human thing. And so as you playfully experiment with creating videos and realize writing really isn't your forte, but you brought someone on your team who is a writer and who can take the content that you're creating, which you like creating those videos, and then she can watch and write about it. That's exactly how we want people to repurpose their content, especially when they have a team. And so it doesn't have to just rely on your shoulders anymore, Joan. Like you built an infrastructure based off of what you like, who you love to work with, and what you love to do. And now your team is utilizing their unique skill set to really expand your reach, but it really focused on you first.
Yep, it definitely did. And it got a lot clearer. And I think one of the other good pieces of advice was it doesn't have to be perfect.
Oh, so true. So true.
You know, it's like, hey, a 90 is still an A.
Yeah.
It's still an A. It doesn't have to be 100. It can be a 90. Still give something great out there and be satisfied. Mission accomplished. You didn't waste 3 hours trying to get the right vocal snip and move on with the rest of all the other work you have to do for the day. That's the one thing I do like about the TikToks. You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And for someone who's wordy like me, as I'm sure you guys can guess, 3 minutes.
It's a good challenge for you.
It is. But I don't spend the whole day doing it. It's like maybe sometimes 1 or 2 takes. That's it. And I'm done.
So then, Joan, for the listeners out there who are just like, oh, you know, great. She's been working on this since pre-COVID and has had a journey and has finally figured it out. What advice or what would you want to say to that business owner who's hearing your story and just thinking you figured it out over time?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just stop overanalyzing it. And literally the biggest of all of that, if you could just stop working on perfection, stop playing into your idiosyncrasies. And like, we have a little phrase here. I mean, maybe it's a little not a great phrase for a CPA to have. We're like, good enough for government work. Because there's so many times when we look at what the IRS is asking us to do, there's no guidance, there's no clarity around it. Or like, well, this is our best effort, and we're not going to spend 20 years without them having taken the time to figure it out for them. It's like, I say, good enough for government work. Like, this is our best effort. We document what we thought, and we move on with it. We just move on. And I think that's the biggest piece to, just not beat yourself up. Just be like, it's an A. Doesn't have to be an A+. It's an A. Just get on with it and move on.
I love that. And so then in our time together, in our work together, I want to make sure that we celebrate you. Just seeing the change and progression that you've made in this business. You now have flipped from having to rely on your spouse as the breadwinner to where you're now the breadwinner in the family. And life has really changed a lot for you during this journey that we've been supporting you through. Do you think having the focus of growing your business based on your heart and what you want to do in this world, and having, I guess, a team behind you to support you through the highs and the lows, has really been the turning point of your success? Because you worked with other coaches before and it really didn't work. And so when we were able to align and feel, I know there's times where you're like, oh gosh, Shannon got off camera and said, all right, cops, and like, we need to dive deeper. But I do think like the relationship and journey that we've been on has just been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been super helpful. And I'm already like, I was even just thinking about this last night because I knew I had this coming up. I'm like, it's, and I've taken like a little mini break. I love that I can always keep tuning in, but like right now I'm trying to close on this last milestone. So you can take that little break and just be like, I'm going to be all in, sales first, grow. But everything happens for a reason. While I'm focusing on this, all of a sudden I have widows now reaching out to me, police widows who are, well known in our police wife organizations and things like that, who are recent widows who are asking for help. And we still put the brakes on, we still help them, but it's nice that you can kind of come and go from all of this, but still have that support team when you're like, I'm stuck. Like I think it was a couple of weeks ago when I was like, I'm stuck, and I'm not 100% unstuck, because I'm still trying to get past that hurdle. But at the same time, it was like, okay, you guys just need to breathe, and it's okay. Let's just kind of do a little laser coaching and get through it. And I think that's the value I see in it, is that you're not just like, hey, you didn't write a check for us this month. We're going to abandon you. No, it's like, you know what, you need to pause it and focus on this. That's totally okay. We'll catch up with you in another month. We're here to support you overall, not just this moment. You know what I mean? That's what I really appreciate about this group, is that it's like having a team behind you, and you can privately vent, which you're like,
no, I totally get what you're saying. And again,
they get your pain points, and sometimes you just want to vent, and people accept that. You're like, I'm not looking for advice. I just need to, right.
And
that's the best part about this, is that it really is continuous.
Focusing on you and what you need at this point in time in your journey. And again, there's days where we dive deep and we're in there with you. And then there's times where it might be a few weeks and we haven't heard from you, but it's because you're out implementing, you're out doing, and you have the confidence to know that you can execute on this, but also, we're in your back pocket if you need to come back.
It's so true. And I'm like, it was funny because I was thinking about this last night, is that I'm like, okay, I know I'm getting past this next milestone, and I'm like, all right, but my next plan is, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. And I know I'm going to probably be like, so when's the retreat that's after April 14th, 15th? Because I won't see you for 4.5 months, but, or 4 months, I should say. But, when's the next retreat? Because I need to work on this. And that was also the nice part about working in the spring, was I'm like, I can't, I needed just to be all in for like 24 hours. And we got together. It was like so helpful, because it was like, okay, I just want to get it done.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's, if I had to think of an overall theme of how we work with anybody and everybody, it is getting it done. Like, I don't want you floundering. We were talking about being a floppy titty earlier today. Like, let's make decisions. Let's get it done. Let's look at the results. And if it didn't go the way we intended it to, we can always tweak it.
Yeah. I think this like pie in the sky of like, when you roll it out, it has to be 1,000% perfect, is just, and once you kind of realize, wait, this isn't like Catholic school all over again. It's like, oh, okay. Well, again, it's an A, it's good enough. Just go on with it, make some tweaks. But I think that's one of the biggest things, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get on with it, see if it works, tweak, get on with it again.
And go. Yeah.
And just keep moving forward instead of like coming to a dead halt.
Yeah. The progression is absolutely key. Absolutely key. Well, Joan, thank you so much for joining me today. It's always fun to hang out with you and chat it up. I'm always like, oh, it's my friend Joan, And really, thank you for your work. I know it's important work in this world. I know it's not the easiest work to explain, but you've really done a great job growing this business from your heart to be something that's more than just you.
Yeah.
I will have another expert in my next episode, but until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Grow Your Business for Good podcast with your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez and Amy Hager.
Head over to www.joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/quiz to take the content personality quiz and join our community. And remember our mantra, if it ain't joyful, we ain't doing that shit.
If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show, leave a review, and spread the good news with other coaches and consultants.